to any particular area.
Foreign Minister Mudavadi have signed an agreement on this topic of a mobility partnership. And I think that is a very important agreement. It offers new prospects for Kenyan men and women because skilled workers and young trainees can come to Germany. It can help to bridge the severe shortage of skilled labor. And the first impacts of sports are already being felt. And we see that there is this shortage doesn't feel stress.
It's an opportunity for the German economy to intensify its relationship with Kenya businesses. And as you know, with the rapid digitalization of economies comes the challenge of ensuring that we have the right talents to support and sustain the Kenyan digital economy with its flourishing sectors such as IT services, software development, and customer support offers unique opportunities for German businesses. Leveraging Kenya's highly skilled professionals through businesses process outsourcing addresses the pressing labor shortage that we have here in Germany. And it also fosters economic growth and innovation on both sides.
All right, and that's just a highlight from the conversations that were happening in Berlin 2 weeks ago during the official signing of the labor migration agreement. And right about now, we would like to thank you so much, Ambassador, and excuse you together with the CS. You have a media briefing that is happening outside, and so we'd like to allow you a few minutes together with the delegation to join the media conference and also invite the teams, the media teams that are here to kindly join them at the holding room. They'll be guided by Michael towards the media area where we will do the briefing. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. Another warm round of applause as we allow them to exit. Thank you so much, Bona CS. Thank you so much, Bona Ambassador, together with our guests, the PSs. In the meantime, we segue into our next session. And just to inform you, we are streaming live on the Germany in Kenya Facebook page. We are also available on the GIZ Kenya YouTube page. You can follow the conversation. We also have a hashtag that we're using for this forum. It's hashtag skilled migration KENGER. Hashtag skilled migration KENGER. That's skilled migration of Kenya, Germany. And so please, if you have a tweet you'd like to share, a message on your social media, whether Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, feel free to use that hashtag as you share your message. I'd like to request that the support team to kindly help us set up for the panel. And I'd now like to invite the Deputy Head of Mission, the German Embassy, that's Alexander Fierley, to kindly come. We will also like to welcome the panelists that will be joining us for this conversation. I know the PS has joined the team that has gone for the media, but we can already have some of the other panelists also join us, and then we could also introduce them. So please kindly let's appreciate the Deputy Head of Mission, the German Embassy, Mr. Alexander Fierle, Deputy Ambassador and Deputy Head of Mission at the German Embassy.
Good morning all together. I think we have to get PS Madime to do the introductory remarks. So maybe, I don't know if anybody could just go and ask him to come. Yeah. Meanwhile, maybe we can also bring the panelists already on stage, invite them to take part. I think it's a good mixture for our first panel, which is Pathways to Germany, Opportunities and Challenges. As I said, we have Shadrach Madime, the Principal Secretary, for a keynote. And then we have Horst Bauernfeind from GIZ. Horst, are you here? Yeah, so please join us here. We have Sarah Kilemi, Managing Director of SOMO. Sarah, please join us. Martin Theobald, CEO of TerraSign. He's with us as well. And Dr. Elisa Panagiotatu, who is a DAAD lecturer. She's with us as well. Very good. So we have more chairs than. No, I think it fits perfectly. Please, please have a seat. So before the PS comes, I think I will just make a short introduction of you. So Horst Bauernfeind has started his career in the private sector. He joined GIZ in 2005. And since then, he has led TVET and economic development projects in Ghana, Nigeria, Ethiopia, and Southeast Asia. And since 2019, he has been the project manager of the Youth Employment and TVET project in Kenya. He was part of the team conducting a research paper on the potentials of labor migration from Kenya to Germany in 2024, sorry. And we are very curious on the results that you might present to us a bit later. Sarah Kilemi, we met a few months ago when you were in my office with a representative of a large German company looking for migrant workers for Germany. So you are the managing director of SomoServe Management Company. You lived for 9 years in Germany and worked with an UN agency there. And you have lived and worked in over 40 countries. I know what it means to change countries. I think I'm at 9 or 10. Maybe I'm older than you already, so I wonder how you can make up 40 countries. But anyway, that's a big achievement, I would say. And your company Somo is specializing in recruiting workers for local and international markets. Martin Theobald, he is the CEO of TerraSign GmbH. He's a corporate publishing expert, and you also have a UN background. And you're the founder and managing partner of TerraSign, the parent company of Terra Talent. Terra Talent is a consulting company dedicated to recruiting specialists for the German and European labor market. So very warm welcome. We have also met already. I think it was in January when you were here. So you're not the first time here. You have your experience also in Kenya. And Dr. Elisa Panagiotatu, you're a DAAD lecturer at the University of Nairobi. Before that, you had similar positions in Antananarivo, Madagascar, and Cotonou, Benin. So very warm welcome to all of you. We are still waiting for the PS, but as he is still on his way, I think we just start with our conversation, and then we have the keynote later or just in between. I think it makes sense to start with Horst because Horst actually has done this study on behalf of the German government together with a team. So we tasked GIZ when it was clear that we will have this migration agreement to look in the potentials, but also in the challenges of this endeavor to bring more people in work in Germany, in jobs in Germany. And I think it would be very interesting if you could just shortly the main results, the main findings concerning the potential, but maybe also the challenges of our journey that we are going together. Horst.
Good. Yeah. Thank you, Alexander. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, the potential analysis for skilled labor migration from Kenya to Germany was conducted earlier this year. The purpose was to accompany and support the development of the labor migration agreement, and then also to foster the next steps to be done. Yeah, I want to focus a little bit on the identified pathways to Germany, because I think that is maybe the more practical part, and then highlight also on the opportunities we have identified, especially also on the sectors, and then also come, of course, to the challenges. Yeah, in Kenya, of course, I think it's, despite all potentials, it's not an easy task. So I think we have to still make some baby steps before we can go into larger numbers. But basically, we identified three major pathways to go to Germany. So the first pathway is to use, so to speak, training, vocational training, as an entry point to go to Germany for training purposes. That, of course, um, is the slowest pathway, because it would take a couple of months, sometimes year, before the workers are fully qualified. I'm coming back to that in a minute. So the second pathway is then to go to Germany as a worker with partially adequate skills, but not fully recognized skills in Germany, and then take a further on training either in Kenya or Germany. And then the third pathway is to go as a fully, let's say, fully recognized skilled worker to Germany and then start working there. That, of course, is the fastest pathway. Good. Let me highlight a little bit on the training pathway first. We believe that this could be a good opportunity to build in a medium term, in a time frame from let's say two years, a steady flow of adequately skilled people. One advantage is, of course, that you can rule out the brain drain effect, because Kenya has enough young people. I mean, every year we heard close to 1 million people are entering the world of work. And in 2023, from the 963,000 people coming out of the secondary school system, only 400,000 got absorbed by TVET sector or by university. So that means there are a lot of young people. We could also not, I mean, the Kenyan labor market also struggle to absorb them. So to train some of these people in cooperation with Kenyan and German institutions could build then a pipeline of very well qualified people. A big advantage of Kenya is also the very well structured TVET system. So to develop new vocations or to adjust curricula in Kenya is a very fast process compared to other countries. So we made that experience with, for example, the vocation industrial mechatronic, where it took us roughly 1 year to develop this vocation from the scratch. In other countries, this can take years. So that is a very big advantage. So curriculars can be adjusted, and then training schemes can be fostered out, and a pipeline can be built. So that is pathway number one. Pathway number two is then, let's say, semi-skilled workers. Here, of course, less training is needed, and depending a little bit on the vocation, because I mean, if you think about roof construction in Germany, you need a snow-proof roof. If you are a roofer in Kenya, your skills won't let you far, because German roof construction is totally different. Good. And then coming to the third pathway, the already qualified workers. Unfortunately, we have to say that at the moment, not a single vocation or qualification which you gain in Kenya is fully recognized in Germany. So there is zero at the moment. Everybody going to Germany has to then get his qualification approved. What we have, around 20 vocations which have been aligned to the German standards and qualifications that has been done by AHK. That are cooks, for example, automotive technicians, cold store technicians, and other vocations. Good. Okay. Yeah, that is actually what I wanted to share. The major findings, these 3 pathways, which should be then, from our point of view, followed up. Thank you.
Thank you, Horst. So we learned that there are different ways of getting to Germany. You don't have to be a fully trained, highly experienced expert. There are also possibilities for those who just left school. But one thing I think we have to mention is that the German language in most cases is just necessary. So the German society is very much based on German language. You speak German in hospitals, in all corporates. There are a few international corporates that might also have English as their language, but not in the production, maybe rather among IT experts or so. So German is a major requirement, German language. Sarah, you are Kenyan and you have lived in Germany for quite a while. What do you think? What are the most promising potentials in the collaboration between Germany and Kenya in the field of labor migration? We always talk about the health sector because there's a big need in Germany, and we also see it here on the fair. There are many companies that are specialized on the health sector. Do you see other potentials, other sectors that might be interesting?
Thank you very much. First, Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
You see, if you really want to work in Germany, the first thing you want to do or recruit somebody to work in Germany, the first thing you need to do is know the greetings. And so if I say Guten Morgen, at least repeat Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. That's good. So we can add some German language in it. So that's the start for many people that watch us on the screens in their language career.
Thank you so much. So I think I'll talk from my different perspectives of living in Germany. I went there. First of all, I moved to Germany from Switzerland because I worked with the United Nations. So I had to move a United Nations office from Geneva to Bonn, and I had to do recruitment. So I know what it means to recruit people to come to work in a country where they don't understand the language. Then I also did my PhD in Germany. So I also understand from the perspective of a student. And then also as a worker. And I had also little children who are also going to school in Germany. So I had a whole round experience of working, studying, living, and socializing in Germany. First, the opportunities which I would want to talk about before we come in, because we also talk about the challenges, is that people tend to think that the opportunities there are only in health sector or in hospitality. But as we have also heard that the German population is aging, and as we have very young, vibrant, and so they don't give birth at the rate we give birth. So mainly they can see themselves that the way things are going, they won't have people to replace the old ones in their economy. And if they have to continue growing as an economy, the biggest economy in Europe, they have to bring people from outside Germany. And it is basically in all sectors, especially in the tech industry. And that's where I think a lot of people don't seem to realize there are a lot of opportunities in the tech industry in Germany. And I noticed that because we get a lot of them from the Asian countries. When I was there, we had a lot of them coming from India. And when they come, they also don't know the language. The other one is in the agricultural sector. The only thing is in the agricultural sector, a lot of them are in the rural areas. They are not in town. But I remember because we have taken some who have gone there through the program of vocational training. And after training for 6 months, they were absorbed by those agricultural industries. So the vocational training he is talking about is the right way actually to go through, because after they train them, they also absorb them. The other area that I think is also very useful is in the technical trades, which for us they are like welders, like technicians. But as you said, you are still trying to see whether you can harmonize that qualification to be able to be accepted by the German market. And that's, I think, where we need to focus a lot, so that we can also have Kenyans benefiting from that. Hospitality is also one of the area where we can benefit. We've taken some people for hospitality, especially those who are very specialized cooks, very specialized people in the hospitality industry, and that's also another area. Of course, nursing and the caregiving is one of the area also which is in high demand. If you go to Germany right now, majority of those doing that job come from the Filipinos, a lot of Filipinos who are doing that job, but Kenyans too can do the same job.
Thank you. Yes, and especially from the caring sector, from the hospitalities, we have a very good feedback also in Germany about Kenyan workers. Because sometimes when you're in hospital in Germany, you have the feeling that, well, I'm a customer or a patient, and you're not really treated like a customer. But Kenyans are very much used to treat also patients like customers and be nice and caring about them. And I think that is a big quality that
We smile,
helps.
smile to a sick
Yes.
person, and the sick person recovers.
Yeah. Martin, you come from the same sector. You also have a recruitment company, and you have experience in different countries already. I would like to know, and I think that is especially important for our audience at the screen, what criteria are you looking for? And I'm talking about soft skills, so I'm not talking about the welder, what he has to do technically, etc. But what soft skills are important if you move from a country or if you move into a country which is about 8,000 kilometers away from your home, you're there, you might be in an environment which is completely different to yours at home. So I think there's also a big need for certain soft skills. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that. What are you looking for when you vet young talents?
Well, it's been 1.5 years ago when I've been to Mount Kenya University, and I had a little speech in front of, I think it was 1,000 students, and they asked me the same questions. And I simply said, know who you are, be proud of what you are, then you're going to make your way. That's the only soft skill you have to have. We have to speak about the German language, yes. And I think I'm the only one who thinks that German is not as complicated as people tell. My mother tongue is French. And if I start counting, I have to be good at math if it comes over 60. But we experience in our daily business is that we have to match expectations. That's much more important. What are the expectations the employees have, the employers, the Germans have, the people from Kenya have? What do they think? What do they know about Germany? Are they open to it? Do they know who they are? Are they proud of what they are? That's for us the most important thing. And one thing that we always have to talk about is the German payslip. How does it look like and what's on it? Or what does it mean?
Do you think so the applicants that come to you to apply for a job, do they have a realistic picture of Germany, what they expect, or is there a lot of surprise once they arrive in Germany and see how we live, how our culture is, how people are.
Yes, there are always big surprises. When I was at Mount Kenya, there was a student sitting next to me, and he spent 1 year in Germany. He went to Göttingen in the middle of nowhere, and he started in October. And it was wintertime in Germany. It was dark, the weather was bad, and he felt lonesome. But he said, "Well, it's my yes, it's my chance to make my way into Germany." And after 1 year, he said, "I got now friends for a lifetime." His first pictures of Germany were Porsche, Volkswagen, Audi, Bayern, Munich, and that was it. And then he came to Germany, and well, it gets dark at I think 4:30, sunrise at in winter times at 8. It's clumsy, it's cold,
Yeah.
and you have to wear a coat.
Yeah, thank you. I think stamina is something that you really need at the beginning. You have to go through some difficulties and then also benefit from your stay. Elisa, you talk a lot to students, also to students who come back from Germany after their stay. Many of them had a scholarship from DAAD or other opportunities to study in Germany. What do they tell you? What is their main experience? What were the positive and the negative sides of their stays in Germany, of the life in Germany they experienced?
I would say the image we get is overall a positive. The feedback we get is overall positive. Of course, the weather, of course, it also depends on how well they speak the German language, because the DAD and in general the German university landscape has changed in the past years. So we have many students who go to Germany without German. Most people don't know that, but it's now possible to go to Germany and study in Germany in English. So what we see is a difference between the people who speak German and who are able to get, let's say, better integrated to understand what's going on around them, compared to those who do English-speaking courses and do not manage to master the language in the time they're there. So although German is not a prerequisite, we strongly urge them to learn German before they go and to continue all the time throughout their studies there. That's one thing. Overall, it's a very positive feedback we get.
Thank you. Yeah, so you highlighted language, and I would like to deep into that a bit deeper with you, Sarah, because if you prepare young talents for Germany, I think that is also a main focus you have to look into. So, from your experience, how long does it take to really get to a level, and how much time do you have to invest every day until you have an acceptable level of German language skills so that you can apply for a job in Germany?
Thank you very much. Again, this is going to be the biggest challenge. We are all very excited about the jobs that have been told they are going to be available. But remember, you are not going to work in an English environment. Your contract is going to be in German. The people you are socializing with are going to be Germans. And so my biggest challenge when I arrived there was the language. So what we did is, because I was also the focal point with the BMZ. BMZ is the ministry that does with economic and cooperation. We had to come up with a process. We told them if these people have to work, they have to speak the German language. And it has to be taught by German natives. Because I realized we were learning, but when we go out to speak, they can't understand what we are speaking. And we think we are also speaking the language. So it was taking anywhere from 6 months to 1 year before you are able to speak and write. It's not only speaking, it's not street language, because you also need to use it. If you're in the hospital, you need to know what language are you going to talk to the patient. If you are in the factory, you need to know how are you going to communicate with your colleagues. Socializing is easy because you can learn very simple socializing language. But for those who are working, it is going to take no less than 6 months if you are really doing intensive. And that is from our own experience, it was taking 6 months to 1 year. There are those who are even taking longer for them to master the language. So language, and as you said, is going to be the biggest challenge. And sometimes even Germans who speak English, you ask them, "Sprachen English?" They say, "Nein." Even though they speak English, they will say they don't speak English. So you are forced, you yourself, to make sure that you learn the language. My challenge, which I also see, we are saying we are going to open a lot of language institutions. How are we going to harmonize the teaching in those classes so that there is only one center for certification of those languages, so that not everybody is issuing the certificates, not everybody is buying a certificate. Right now, if I understand from the embassy, you only accept certificates issued either by Goethe Institute or by the Austrian Institute for the language. So are these the ones who are going to certify or to issue the examination for those who are going to offer language classes, for those who are going to study in Germany? That has to be agreed, because that's one of the pathway you have to make it. But it is easy language. It's not very difficult. Only that sometimes you can join it like 3 different ones, and you can read a word coming from this corner to that corner, like a sentence, but it's once. So you need to learn how to pronounce them. And for me, it will take no less than 6 months to 1 year. I heard the university is going to do training of the teachers who are going to train others, but still we'll need to have a one body that is certifying the certificates that you are going to use in order for them to be as acceptable by the employers.
Thank you. Yeah, what we learn from this is that it needs tests. You cannot just take part in classes and then you think, okay, now my level is acceptable and then apply. You need to have certifications that are issued by Goethe Institute and also by other actors here in Kenya. Maybe one more question to concerning the language, Elisa, because DAAD is also much involved in teaching German at universities. I think there are quite some challenges here for increasing the number of German lessons and German teachers. Maybe you can tell us a little bit what your challenges are with language teachers, also the salaries that are paid, etc., all that.
So at university level, because if we want to increase the number of those who learn German here, of course, we first have to increase the number of teachers. And these teachers have to go through an academic training at university. There is a huge interest. However, our biggest challenge is that we have a lack of people who teach them at university level. So the universities, they don't recruit more lecturers. That means that numbers are rising, especially at the KU, the Kenyatta University. Numbers of students are rising every year, and still it's these 3 people who have to teach them. Similar challenges in infrastructure, in classrooms, not big enough, not the infrastructure that's necessary. So what we would need would basically be more lecturers of German who would have fixed contracts and who would teach the future generation of those who would then teach the language in this country to those who are interested in going to Germany. And concerning, you also talked about money. Of course, money is an issue. It has to be an attractive job. The moment a teacher gets a better salary, it will become a more attractive opportunity for them, and they won't leave this job for any other job that pays better. So on a political level, I think that's what we need, more lecturers with fixed contract that teach at university level.
Okay, now we are at the responsibilities of governments, and I'm happy that my friend Piers Shadrach Maradime is now here. And may I invite you just to give us a short input from your side, and then you can also join us for maybe more questions and discussion.
Okay. Thank you very much, Alexander. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Jambo. Guten Morgen. Did I pronounce it well? Language will obviously be an issue. There is no question about it. But one thing that I'm very proud concerning Kenyans is that they have a very swift tongue. If you have visited, and this is for the benefit of the private recruitment agencies that have come from Germany, if you visit the coastal region, you'll discover that our young people are able to speak different languages, German, Spanish, Italian, whatever language that is available in this world, you'll find our young people speaking it, out there because they interact with tourists very, very easily. So I'm saying so with reference to the challenge that has been pointed out concerning languages. I don't think it's going to be a problem for young people to learn the German language and speak it very, very fluently. I want to that within a very short period of time, they should be able to speak the language and take up. But I also want to mention, maybe expound further on what my cabinet secretary said. And this is with reference to rogue recruitment agencies that have been highlighted by the print and electronic media, I think, for the last 3 or 4 days. The reality of the situation is, when we look at our statistics, it's only a very, very small percentage of these recruitment agencies that are involved in percentage of our recruitment agencies operate in an ethical way. And I'm saying so because of the rigorous process of registering them. And not only in the vetting process is such that we have several security agencies, not only the Director of Criminal Investigations, but also the Intelligence Agency and other ministries that are involved in the government agency that operates above board. So I want to assure you, for those of you who will be coming to Kenya to do recruitment, whether you want to be registered or you want to partner with the local private recruitment agencies, the kind of you need not do it. And then thirdly, I want to give you assurance concerning the young people who will be migrating, to Germany. And this is with reference to some of the issues that I've seen on print media and electronic media concerning, the thinking of those in Europe, the xenophobic feelings, against those who will be migrating from Africa. Let me assure you that part of our pre-departure training is such that we appraise them, that they are going for short-term contracts. We don't want their models that we can emulate of countries that were able to expand their economies by sending the young people abroad. South Korea did it about 30 years ago, sent their young people to Japan, sent their young people to Germany, and also to Saudi Arabia. And when they came back home with technology as it was then. So it was a question of transferring the technology that they had been able to find there, acquire there, back home, so as to expand on the economy. So what I'm trying to say is, even as you embark on the recruitment of our young people, rest assured that they already know they are going for short-term contracts to get what they will be able to earn, the savings that they will be able to make, and then they come back home to invest in our country. And then the third and final issue that I would wish to raise with you, and it was also raised during the press conference that our cabinet secretary and our ambassador had, and this is with reference to why our government then has not been able to expand the economy as exponentially as possible to absorb these young people within. As I said, this is a strategy that we're employing. Yes, it is true that the unemployment rate is high. Indeed, out of 1 million graduates from primary school, secondary school, and even tertiary institutions, only 200,000 can be absorbed in both the private and the public sector, which leaves about 8 there struggling, some of them possibly to establish their own enterprises because we give out soft loans, for them to establish micro and small enterprises. But then a big percentage of them find themselves out there, highly skilled, young people with first degrees, second degrees, even PhDs, but they are unable to secure employment. The administration that we have currently was brought into power on the promise of improving the standard of living of those who are of the economic pyramid. And therefore, our strategy is just the same way we get foreign direct investment, from business enterprises abroad there, and they make savings. They will still be able to come back home, invest, in enterprises, in businesses, and be able to employ their younger brothers and sisters. So this could be a short-term arrangement that we have in place, but the long term is to ensure that our economy expands. And I thank you.
Thank you, PS. Important, and our time is elapsing. So maybe one last question, and maybe different actors can reply on that, because I think it's very important. You touched upon it. Ethical recruitment, certain international standards that have to be met. That is something I think we have to talk about, especially also for our audience on the screen, for recruiters to do, and for employees to pay and to commit. Maybe you can start about that for a second.
Thank you so much. Yes, let me say that if we start on the right footing, then we gain the confidence with the employers in Germany. And that will have to entail ethical recruitment. Ethical recruitment is where the job seeker is not bearing the entire cost of that recruitment. And I see here some areas where you will need to work on. One is we have those, and we have the recruiters who are based in Kenya. We have to find a way of harmonizing who will the employer be contacting. Assuming you contact a recruiter who is based in Germany, they may also have to contact a recruiter based in Kenya. So the employer will pay only one recruiter. But the other recruiter will also want because they are all of them in business, they also want to have money. And this is where you find now a cartel coming in. There is a recruiter here who subcontracted another recruiter. At the end of the day, the money given by the employer is not enough, and then the job seeker ends up paying. So my only recommendation is let the employer deal with the recruiter, who will also deal with the job seeker, and the job seeker goes straight to the employer. If we allow bringing in middlemen, the ones we call middlemen, in between, then you end up having the job seeker paying a lot of money in order to get the job. As the CS said, the job seeker should not pay anything. The employer should be able to pay the recruiter, and the recruiter should be able to follow the process of enabling this person to travel. However, there are also some challenges that we need to look at, is the harmonization of our qualification with what is required by the German employer. That's costing money. And for a job seeker who has literally nothing, being told to pay about 200 euro or something to have the documents harmonized in order for them to be considered by an employer, that's something we need to look at. On the ethical recruitment, we have NEA. We have, for us, we also recruit, my company recruits also for Kenya Maritime Authority, and that's guided by ILO. And so there's the job seeker in KMA does not pay even a cent. The employer pays everything. So basically that is also something we can learn. So NEA can learn that, they can all of them work together. The rogue recruiting agencies, I hope they'll be dealt with, because those are the ones who give bad name to the good recruiting companies. But ethical recruitment process is basically the way we have to go to build the confidence and the trust of the employers in Germany.
Thank you. Theobald, Martin, one more question in that regard to you. It's about ethical recruitment, but there's also an aspect of onboarding in Germany. So what, according to your experience, is necessary, and what does the employer have to do and the recruitment agency to make sure that a person who comes to Germany actually can really settle down and feel well? What is needed?
First of all, my company, we are working with a B2B model. We are hired by companies, and they are in charge to pay everything, even the relocation, the visa process, and everything. It's not for the job seeker to newbie, or if you have a newbie from Kenya. It's a very big difference. There are different needs. There's a because people from abroad are not aware of the German directness, that they can open up their mouths even there's no they're not pushed back on that moment. That's a very crucial thing, and we are always training more on companies than on job seekers, that it is their job to do their homework and to welcome.
Maybe you can give some recommend questions should they ask to make sure that they have a serious, transparent, and fair recruiter in front of them.
That's a very, very important question. Two things. One, we want to encourage job seekers to be accessing the National Employment Authority integrated management system.